All right, guys, welcome back to the FPL One Percenters Pod. In a week of royal interviews, I'm joined by FPL royalty, Kazim. Welcome back. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been in some hibernation, but thought I could come back with a strong game week, but can't plan everything. But yeah, looking forward
Yeah,
to chatting.
nice. Yeah, looking forward to a good chat in honor of Hash. We got to drop that in there. I think you were waiting for a Mason Mount goal and a Chelsea victory at Anfield, which was very well deserved, I must say.
Yeah, sort of covered up any of the holes on my actual FPL team. Happy to see my
Yeah.
club, push for the top four and gonna try and make some room in my FPL team for these players. But yeah, we can talk more about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a bit of a shift in terms of back in the day, we used to be quite happy if our FPL did well and our team didn't do too badly, but now it's gone to the inverse, to be fair.
Yeah, it's always that, you want to see your team well, but if your FPL players can contribute too, then
Then happy days, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So before we jump into things, quick shout out to our sponsors, Footsapp, a fantastic app that helps you sort out your football sessions. With the lockdown ending in the UK, it's a great time to sort out football sessions, and Footsapp is a great app to do it. It takes out all the admin from it. Links and all in the bio. Please check them out. Really cool stuff they're doing. Kazim, how was your game week? I had a disastrous game week, so I can go first if you'd like. I had a Bruno captain, and that pretty much sums it up. It was just downhill from there. I took a -8 point hit. I got Kane in, who didn't get as many points as I'd have expected, but yeah, it's generally all-round disappointing. Fulham, I had a defender from Fulham, Oluwa Aina, who was due a solid 6-pointer, but he got subbed off at halftime, so it's just the story of the season, to be honest. I'm hovering around the 10% mark in terms of a rank. What about yourself, man? Similar story, or?
Yeah, pretty disappointing week. This was actually, I guess, one of the more exciting weeks for everyone. I mean, the big double game week, and everyone had those big, the Calvert-Lewin. Everyone was looking at Harvey Barnes, informed players, Bruno, Salah, Kane, obviously, returned. But yeah, at the end of the day, no one really, stood out. Seemed like it was a lot of defenders who got the scores, but any of the big attacking scores. I know you had Richarlison, so 2 goals.
Yeah, I know, but couldn't rescue my game week, to be honest. Richarlison, poor guy. But the thing is, yeah, you're right. Those that back defenders, those that played a bench boost. If you had players like Martinez, for example, big hole. Shaw, big hole. Players like Rudiger, massive hole as well.
Crystal Palace of all teams, actually, I was just looking, got 2 clean sheets. So I was like,
rated as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you had like those, I mean, I don't think Mitchell played in the first one, but if you just generally had a bench boost with like defenders across these teams, and has covered the defensive numbers of these teams, and a lot of them did keep clean sheets. I think the only one that was a bit disappointing would be like Brighton fans would be a bit disappointed, because I don't know how they didn't score, and I don't know how they didn't keep a clean sheet against West Brom.
Yeah, I actually had the Brighton keeper, and I guess that was like the one.
No, but I think he's a good shout, to be honest, in general, because their numbers are crazy, man. I think I heard on one of the other pods that they've conceded less chances in the box chances, less big chances than City even, actually, over the last few game weeks.
Yeah, no, they did definitely solid defensively, and I think it goes hand in hand with they're creating a lot of chances too, so they get a lot of the ball. But I don't know, they have some crazy record where they've got like 60 chances in the last like 4 games, and they've converted 1. So
that's my idea.
A lot, but like last game they missed 2 penalties, right? So they're creating a lot, just not scoring. So
yeah, poor guys, man. Spurs another 3 points. Do you think it's at least they're finally showing some form, or what do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean the first game, everyone was a bit excited.
Now they got lucky though, to be honest. Like not lucky, but like they got gifted that first goal, and then it was all downhill from there for.
Yeah, if you watch the game, like the way Burnley was playing, and a lot of people have discussed this, it was just very un-Burnley-like. Like they were attacking, they were playing pretty much into Spurs' hands, right? Like Spurs love to play on the counter, and like I think at least 2 or 3 of the goals were just straight counter attacks. Kane's was actually a deflection, so even that he was lucky with. But yeah, just really played into Spurs' hands, and then I guess the second game they sort of shored up a bit better, although it was a 1-1. against Leicester, but I guess pretty disappointing for like Pope. You always expect.
Yeah, I know. I had him. To be fair, I had him in, and a lot of people had Burnley double defenders as well. Just to give everyone an idea, we're gonna go through this review, and then we're gonna jump into the fixtures over the next couple of weeks. Then we're gonna look at a few stats. We're gonna look at Harvey Barnes replacements as well. That's why we're not addressing it now. We'll look at that and see who you could get in as well. Anything else surprising? It's weird with these massive game weeks, though, right? I really don't know where to start and where to end because it's just a bit of a weird situation. Like Arsenal came from behind to beat Leicester, which is quite mad. And the only game that I have nothing to say about is Chelsea United. Just
down. I mean, it was. These were actually everyone was suggesting. Don't get. Although people wanted the Chelsea defenders, they were trying to avoid this week just because it was Liverpool and United.
Yeah,
they seem to have got 2 clean sheets. So
yeah, they would have been
that
right.
was probably the one. Transfer I sort of regret. Like Rudiger seems to be a nailed on pick now. Just
4.6, right?
Yeah, 4.7 now. I think probably
still worth it though. Yeah, still worth it though. Great value to be fair. Yeah. Shall we jump into it? Just to give a shout out, Hass and Hammer aren't here this week. They're on a bit of a hiatus. Shout out to Hass, who's still chilling in the top 20k, which is essentially the top 0.025% of FPL managers. So he's smashing it and flying the 1%ers flag high. And they'll be back next week, hopefully. We haven't had a full house in quite a while, but hopefully soon enough. But with that said, shout out to Legomane FPL on Twitter for the FPL Matrix. And that's what we're looking at today. So we've got a double coming up this game week 27. City play United in the derby and then Southampton in midweek. And likewise, Southampton have a double game week. They play Sheffield and then City. Anything that you're planning towards that? Or are you planning on rolling on and keeping an eye on like game week 29?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit undecided. With like my big sort of plan was obviously I still have right now Danny Ings, so I do want to get rid of him. I should have really got rid of him last week, but I'm like, if he shows a bit of form in the game, who did they play? Forget who they played, but if he shows a bit of form in that game, I think they played Everton. I'd potentially keep him for the double, right? But I didn't see anything from Southampton. So my plans is to somehow bring in Kevin De Bruyne or bring in another City asset. I'm maxed out at 3, so I may have to.
Who are your 3, by the way?
So I have Cancelo, Stones, and Gundogan.
Okay, nice.
So it's a tough
template
one.
In general.
Yeah, Cancelo would probably be the one I would drop.
Which is weird because you were thinking initially that if you have Cancelo and Stones, then and both of them are rotation risks, you would keep the one that has more attacking potential out of the 2. You know what I mean? That was my thinking behind it. Is that if you're going to drop one?
That is a fair point. But for me, at least the way my team's structured, I could do with the extra 0.08 million. There's quite a big price swing between the 2, so I'm willing to sacrifice like almost $1 million for those odd one in maybe every.
To be fair, you know what? Cancelo looks good and passes the eye test, but I'm pretty sure attacking returns, he's only had the one. Remember where the ref put her flag up?
Exactly, yeah.
That's the only attack. I don't think he's had many or any assists. I don't know. I mean,
maybe but
essentially. But in recent times, I think this is the only one.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm going to put my neck out and say I don't think he's had any assists. But if I'm wrong, then
I'm pretty sure.
Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below, please.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I have only 2 City assets. I've got Gundogan and Cancelo, so I'm looking to see whether. But what scares me is that Pep is making wholesale changes at will now. Like they've got it sort of done and dusted, or kind of done and dusted, and he can make 5-6 changes, and he can take players off at 60 minutes, 50 minutes. Like he can do as he pleases, and everyone's going to get enough game time, so they're not going to be upset. It's only FPL managers that are going to struggle with that, to be honest.
Yeah, and sort of what we have here, the long view is, I think by game week, 30, the league could be very, very well wrapped up too. So you're going to see even more rotation.
Yeah,
maybe even game week 31. I don't know the exact point differential, but that's when I'm sort of looking at maybe offloading, maybe just have the 2 City assets if there is that much rotation.
Yeah.
Just because of that. Like they're not
That's
playing
true.
every game and there's going to be rotation, new players coming in.
Yeah.
You just want to have the main guys if you can.
Yeah.
But with a double game week coming up, as much as I want Kevin De Bruyne, it's still.
I think you hold as normal, right? You treat, because it's City are rotating so much, you just treat it as a single game week, right? And then whoever plays in which game, like it's fine. You'd still want a City asset anyways, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. You pretty much just hold if you have them, and then try to fix that up in the coming weeks.
The other one I'd point out as well is Chelsea. They play Everton, Leeds. Then they've got the blank, but then the West Brom and Palace. So if you are going to get in a Rudiger or something, then it might not be a bad shot to get them in. It depends on your plan for 29 as well. If you've got a free hit, then game week 29 is where you're playing it, right? You've got a free hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. But so what? We've got 3 weeks up till game week 29.
You've got 1, 2, and 3 transfers. So 1 before 27, 28, and 3 free transfers. Yeah. So if you have
transfers, and then I'm okay taking a -4 in each of those weeks. So 6 potential ways I can change my team to get at least 10 players, maybe 9.
True. Because it really depends on the structure of your team. If you've got like a Martinez already, you've got like a Bamford, Rafinha, or both, right? Then you're already quite kind of halfway there. If you've got a keeper already in the Brighton keeper, like with this, the upside's not going to be massive as well. Like there's 4 games at the end of the day. A lot of people are going to be going in with kind of half-baked teams, 7, 8 players. So I think if you can gather together 7, 8, 9 players, which is going to be my situation. I don't have the luxury of a free hit. I probably would play it, but if I didn't, then I'm quite happy to try and get towards 8, 9 players, and then play the wild card after that.
Yeah, like that's my plan right now, is to get to 8 or 9 players at least. I think right now I can get there. Obviously, if I have big injuries, then I may want to play the free hit. But right now, I would rather use it in like 30, just because I don't like the fixtures too much in 32, 33. You've got like Fulham, you've got Brighton, Newcastle. Okay,
there's gonna true. They're gonna move around the fixtures as well a little bit more that we haven't sort of heard. There's still a pending few to be rescheduled with the FA Cup semi-final as well. So there are opportunities if you can raise the squad for 29. Not the worst thing.
Game weeks coming up. So
yeah, exactly. Small ones, not as big as this one, but big game weeks sound good to us, man. So we just gotta. I think we do all of the little ones. I think we all did quite well in that Leeds double game week, which was quite nice. It gives you a focus point, It's an all or nothing type situation. But with that said, let's look at some player numbers. And our stat man Hass is here today. So what this is, he's put together some stats for us to go through. And it's player involvement, essentially, over the last 6 game weeks, how involved they've been in goals, the minutes per expected goal involvement. And you see the usual suspects in there. Jesus, Gundogan, Antonio, Salah still there or thereabouts, Sterling there or thereabouts. We looked at similar numbers last week as well. The one that I wanted to point out that's quite low, a lot of people brought him in this week, is Calvert-Lewin, whose minutes per expected goal involvement is 185. And for someone who sort of camps out in the 6-yard box, quite low. It just sort of shows the lack of attacking threat that Everton have had potentially over the last few weeks. And maybe now that his friends like Richarlison, Dean, and the lot are back, then it might push up. But yeah, it hasn't been too exciting, right? Anything that comes sort of jumps out to you with this?
Yeah, I mean, with Calvert-Lewin, I brought him in this week. Doesn't create a lot of chances, but like as you can see, he was pretty good finisher early on in the season. He had a couple chances even today, but didn't finish them. And he is coming back from injury. So yeah, I mean that's we had talked about it before as well. Mount seems to be a good pick on this player involvement. He doesn't get a lot of chances, but he does. Generally, for Chelsea, he's the main guy to finish those chances. So whenever you are looking at a player to pick, you sort of want to pick the main guy from the team. So at Chelsea right now, Mount seems to be the best pick.
A lot of people sleep on Mason Mount, though, to be honest. Like, as in, he doesn't get the credit, I think, from non-Chelsea fans. or like he's not backed as an FPL asset as much as he should be potentially.
Yeah, just because his he isn't the most.
But his output isn't like 2 goals and no assists over the last 6 game weeks.
Yeah,
like if you compare that to Rafinha 2 and 3, like maybe there is better value for money out there.
Yeah, he's not an explosive player by any means.
No.
I don't think that if you're looking for those explosive stats, but if you have if you're already playing out the fixtures and you're looking for like an attacking Chelsea player, I think that's a good option to have. I mean,
he's always going to start, right? I guess
he's always going to start, and there's potential. He also, I think it was like a couple games ago, he also took a penalty shot. I don't know if it was in the FA Cup or even in the league.
Nice.
So if Jorginho's not playing, there's also a chance he could be on penalties. So there's like a lot of uptick on his sort of, I guess, performances. And especially he's a player who sort of, if he gets a good run going, he could have a good end to the season. So he is on my radar. I wouldn't say I would pick him over
especially here.
Like, definitely not over Rafinha. Rafinha is just like, I don't have him, and he seems pretty explosive as a player. Definitely outscoring Bamford in the last few game weeks. But yeah, that would sort of be my sort of target.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And to be fair, usual suspects are in at the top. And in terms of City players, just interesting to see Jesus's involvement in general. And we'll sort of, if you want to have a deeper dive into this just sort of provides you with an outlook of what the stats have been like over the last 6 weeks, so you can make a decision based on that. So feel free to pause. What we're going to look at next is basically Harvey Barnes. Actually, over 1 million managers brought him in this week. And 1 million managers were disappointed when he got stretchered off. Quite heartbreaking. Wish him all the best, and hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, it was quite wounding, to be honest. And we're just going to look at a few midfield players, and same sort of thing. Minimum 300 minutes played over the last 6 game weeks, and it's sorted by touches in the penalty area. There's no price cap on this, so of course it's not going to be a 1-for-1 depending on your budgets. But yeah, touches in the penalty area. Mara's right at the top there, who has sort of 2 goals and 3 assists over the last 6, which is quite impressive, to be honest. Anything sort of jumps out at you here?
Yeah, I guess for me, sort of, obviously there's the usual suspects as Gundogan. I know he's a bit at the like lower end of the list, but Pedro Neto seems to be like, when eye test wise, he plays really well, and he gets a lot of creates a lot of assists and goals. So he isn't getting as many touches in the box, but
the thing is sorry, have I just jumped in there, the massive mouse? No, but the other one, this column here, now that I'm here, is chances created, which is massive. He creates a lot of chances, to be fair, 17 chances.
Yeah, he's definitely very forward-thinking player. Like, he's never really
his goal against Southampton was class as well, wasn't it? Did you see that one? Just finished it from an impossible angle at the near post.
Yeah, that was a good finish. Yeah, he's definitely a good finisher. He's burnt Chelsea a few times too. I think he's he's definitely too good for Wolves, in my opinion. So I do see him even going to an Arsenal or more mid-table.
Yeah, it does look like a. That's not nice. Wolves are a solid mid-table team. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. But without Jimenez, they're pretty
they're pretty trash. To be honest, without Jimenez, they missed him. To be fair, the other I'm going to shout out one more time is my boy Rafinha. We've had him in for a while. 21 chances created, the most of anyone on this list, and plays in Gameweek 29. So there's literally no downside. And it's just generally, it just gives you an idea of who you could look to replace. In terms of like for like, you could bring in someone like Pepe. I personally am not a fan. Hasn't passed the eye test for me, but he has had a lot of touches in the box. He is getting involved. Arsenal looked strong on the weekend. But again, generally, this just puts the numbers out there. Gives you an idea.
I guess one sort of pick that I don't think is on this list, maybe because he hasn't played that many games, is Saka. I feel like, I don't know what his stats are specifically, but he was having a pretty good run before. I guess they had Europa League, and he's been getting a bit of a rest. But he's definitely, Arsenal seems to be picking up form a lot now. The only risk with him is with them picking up form. Pepe is also picking up form, and same with Willian. So whether or not his spot is sort of guaranteed is a bit of a risk. But if he plays, he's definitely like very attack minded. Gets a lot.
Playing 29 as well, right? That's the other thing. So that's if you're looking to bank. I mean, have a look in and around the fixtures. So like, jump on the matrix and have a look and sort of see what you want to do. That would be the key sort of advice, right? It's very team dependent on who you're going to get in. So this is just generally put up the stats, our opinions based on sort of what our teams look like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Saka's a great shot. The one is not on this list, and this shows you how dire they've been. Is Son, Grealish as well. I think there's been a real downturn in those two teams prior to this week with Spurs. But yeah, just generally, I don't think it's exciting, right? Oh, Bale, sorry, he'll be on there soon enough. Don't worry.
He'll be there soon. But he did get taken off like 65th minute, so
first one, right?
Not an injury or anything, but just shows you like if he's not playing well, Mourinho is not like a Kane or a Son where he'll
have to play 90 minutes.
Keep him on. If he's not playing, he's taking him off. Obviously, like he's older too, so he's
surprising that he played Dele, Son, Kane, and Bale as well today.
Yeah, that was actually nice to see. I mean, I'm not a
rated to Dele Ali for getting back into contention. To be fair, good on him, man. He was FPL gold at one point as well. So hopefully, see those days.
I thought he's only actually 24 years old, so he's not
poor guy, man.
He's not even like
pressure too quick.
Yeah, so he still has a good career, I think, ahead of him. He's not like totally.
Yeah, he's not right up, to be fair. Shout out to Haas for Pascal Gross, as he's got in the actual sign for Gross. He's not going easy on it. So, with that, anything to add on this one, to be fair?
No, I guess obviously just, look at try to aim for Gameweek 29 once again. Any transfer you bring in, that's really, really what you want to target. I know they haven't been working out. We've been planning for the double game weeks. Transfers don't always work out, but it's always good to plan for that. Plan for at least 3-4 game weeks in advance. So at 29, your team will look quite bleak if you don't bring in the right guys.
Yeah, exactly. And you've had, like, if you have had a good double game week and have another one, or you had a good game week previously, if you don't have a free hit and you're not looking at 29, then it's gonna you're gonna lose that ground quite quickly as well. So it's just one thing to keep in mind.
Plus, also I think most people like haven't played their wild card, or like very few have. Maybe some have, but if you haven't yet, that's also a great time to aim for 29. Try to get as many as you can in, and then 30 or 31, depending on your team. Then you can just like clean slate, right?
Exactly. And also, with that, you can think about the bench boost as well after that as well, if you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you have that available, or triple captain, or
I've kind of fallen into a playing keeper somehow, because Fraser Forster was on my bench and plays, so that's good news.
Yeah, but I guess
they're still bad. But
he's
got a double game week.
Yeah, I mean, we drew against them, so I don't know what that means. But I mean, I think they're okay, and they're not okay. But
no, they're not.
Defensively, maybe they can squeeze out.
Nah, man. You're being too generous, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, listen, captains.
Vestergaard and what's the other guy's name?
Bednarek. Yeah, those were the days, man. They were just pulling clean sheet after clean sheet, game week 1 to like 10, and they were the must-haves.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But
you wouldn't transfer them in, but if you don't,
especially if they're playing City and Sheffield are looking like they're on an upturn somehow as well. So with that, captains, for me, easy. Spurs versus Palace, potentially. If not, addressing maybe a City player if I'm holding a City player, because the weird thing is, like, well, you'd captain a City player against anyone. It's just the fact they don't play. It's likely they'll play 1 out of 2. Still worth captaining, though, I think. Still worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because on the evidence of Palace versus United was shocking, fine, but they still had something about them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just, do you feel comfortable, at least with me, like, I only have Gundogan right now. I don't have KDB, so
yeah,
I still don't
I've
feel.
got Gundogan and Cancelo as well. Yeah, so it's like either do I go with Gundogan? Which one will he play? He'll probably play the United game, but you really can't tell with Pep, to be honest. He was on the bench for the last one, so probably will come back in. It's not like you can say this lineup was stronger than this lineup. That's the problem with City. You can't be like this is their best lineup because all of them are great lineups.
Yeah, for me, I'm like pretty much same as you. Either the City fixture, if I get some, team news on, and more guarantee that he'll play, will be Gundogan. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, Son is most likely.
Yeah.
And if I'm really feeling, if I end up keeping Danny Ings, which I doubt it, but if I do, then might keep Danny Ings. He's playing left field. I know it's like a really left field punt.
Yeah.
But
I feel like if you do want to take a left field punt, this might be the week to do it, to be honest, because there's no standout captaincy option, right? Bruno plays City. Liverpool play a decent Fulham, and I don't know how highly Captain Salah is going to be, how highly owned he even is anymore. Like, it's not that, like, the be-all, end-all if you don't. But yeah, I feel like if you fancy a punt this week, this might not be a bad week for it. Be the kind of, those early Timo Werner captaincies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of those. Leeds West Ham looks like it has a couple of goals in it, but you never know. Nonetheless, anything else to add? I think we've kind of gone over for what was planned to be a short pod, so I do apologize, but thank you for sticking around till the end. We really appreciate it. Kazim, it's been good to have you back, man.
Yeah, looking forward to having the full team back next week. But yeah, it was good to be back on, and
I know, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Please hit the like button, because if you don't, then we're going to think that you just tune in for Haas and Hammer. So
let's get over 300 views. That's our goal. So
yeah. Oh man, just to welcome you back. I think we're a bit late instead of mentioning that. I feel like they might not have survived 27 minutes done. But anyways, good luck with the game week. Deadline is 12:30 on Saturday, so 11 a.m. basically UK time. Anything else, drop in the comments, and links in the description down below. Take care.